Hey guys, Brendan from TAT here. I'm here with Meads, the head of training at Burgaflex Asia Pacific. And so we're taking a look at their range of hoses, fittings and solutions. So we all know that it's difficult sometimes to, particularly with your flexible hoses, get a good connection that's going to be solid, long lasting and reliable. So Brett, what can Burgaflex offer us in that space?
Yeah, hi Brendan, and thanks for the opportunity to run through a couple of key points which I think is really valuable in dispelling some of the myths that are out there. Burgaflex, global company, very big in the OE space, and I guess our main claim to fame is that we produce a coupling integrity between a flexible line and a hard line, that is a hose to a fitting, that provides no leakage in the field. And we're all very familiar, and you would certainly have seen many of these in your day, Brendan, with a traditional type of aircon fitting, which we know as a beadlock fitting, sometimes called a bubble crimp. And the one, no matter who makes it, the one characteristic of these that is true across all is that they have a ferrule or a shell that is captive to the fitting. And that's applied to the hose by crushing, using usually a hydraulic hand crimper with interchangeable die sets for every different hose and so on. So looking at where we are as an industry now to where we need to be as we look at the environmental consequences of leaking refrigerant, Burgaflex has a fitting system with a tail profile that is unique, and that tail profile gives us higher coupling integrity than what you'll get with any other fitting program. It actually is machined from billet, and being an OE manufacturer, these are very high tolerance. And we're very fortunate because not only do we have control over the manufacture of our fitting program, but also our hose, which is very unique that we actually make the hose and the fitting so the two go together. What that tail profile gives us is 8 sealing points. And being machined billet, it maintains that sealing area because we don't actually crush or deform that when we crimp. That's half of the solution. The other half is what we call the Burgaclip clip and cage. So this replaces what we've just spoken about as the traditional ferrule or shell on a fitting, and we have an engineered polymer cage that's designed to house 2 clips, and the job is to save the technician worrying about placement. It's very quick and easy, and importantly, we ensure that the loading we put through those clips is in exactly the right place on our tail, which is how we get our coupling integrity. So once we assemble that with the hose, standard reduced barrier hose profile, the loading through those clips is achieved with our calibrated Burgaflex crimping plier, and guys love to use these in the field. They're lightweight, there's no hydraulics to leak, they've got a very small head so you can do hose crimping in situ on planted equipment.
Not too bad.
There's no interchangeable jaw set here, so the jaws or the die set is suitable for all sizes of hose crimping. And we go in normal air conditioning in light vehicle, we'd be looking at 6, 8, 10 and 12 typically. This particular set of pliers will go from number 4 up to number 20 or dash 20 in bus and commercial stuff. Importantly, these can be calibrated in the field. It's a really easy process. We've got a separate video on that. So for the life that you have these, you will be guaranteed that you get the right loading through the clip. And importantly, because we've all got different strength, everyone gets the correct loading because you can't get the tool off until you finish the crimp. So these are probably one of the best features of the whole system because it just makes it so quick and easy. Burgaflex call it their 30-second crimp, and it literally takes less than 30 seconds to assemble the fitting into the hose, crimp the 2 clips in the cage, and then you end up with a fitting that's secured to the hose like that, and it won't give you leakage problems in the field.
And I've seen some other benefits. So there's some great videos online on the site, so when we're putting these in, we've still got rotation ability as well. So it's not something where once it's crimped there, it's done. Reusable as well. So if we needed to reuse the fitting, there is the possibility of doing that. And there's also a great brazing system as well that I know you mentioned to me.
Yeah, one of the key points you just mentioned, whilst these aren't a swivel fitting, absolutely, once they're crimped, you can orientate the fitting, and we did do a special little clip on that because That's not the case with this. Once you crush that onto the hose, it stays there. And for very tight and complex hose routing, you do need the ability to orientate it a few degrees so you don't risk kinking your hose. And you've led on to the second part of this ecosystem, which is probably the most popular in the light vehicle and light truck space. And that is the ability to not only make a hose assembly from scratch, but to repair an existing hose assembly. And now that we have the architecture of most systems where the aircon components are vehicle specific to that platform, and that can even change with a powertrain change in the same chassis, we have a situation where the hose assemblies are quite unique. They usually have a flexible line with a section of hard line, and that hard line is almost always aluminium, and it is bent and molded in such a way that it suits the environment where it lives. It might be up a chassis rail or around a strut tower or something like that. And of course, with age and in Australia with higher ambience, we have leakage over time, typically from the factory beadlock. Yep. And the ability to repair those OE hose assemblies is where this really comes into its own. So using our patented tail profile, the Burgaflex assembly includes the ability to purchase billet machine tails, and we do these in steel if you're working in heavy, where you've got steel lines, but especially for the light vehicle, light truck space, we do these in machined alloy. And what that means is you can take an existing hose assembly that is specific. It might be no longer available for that make. It might be very expensive.
Very far away. Everything seems to be 6 weeks away.
It might be 4 or 6 weeks away. And you can retain the section that is specific to that vehicle. You can cut out the leaking beadlock section, and we've developed a brazing product specifically for aircon that allows you to join that tail to the existing pipework. And Brendan, this is a game changer for most workshops. Typically, we've faced a few problems. We've got pipework that's been in service for many years. Typically, it's heavily oxidised. It's been thermally cycled thousands of times, and it's had refrigerant and refrigerant lubricant oil run through it under pressure. And what we found is that there were 3 pressure points in people trying to repair those type of vehicle-specific hose assemblies. With the commercially available brazing products, the flux chemistry just wasn't right. It didn't allow you to etch with confidence so that you could get a join between a new tail and an old pipe without having any leakage. So we addressed the flux chemistry problem. The second problem that we encountered is the commercially available rods have a melt temperature that sits above the melt temperature of the soft aluminium extrusion used in aircon pipes. So invariably you end up destroying the thing you're trying to repair.
Yep.
And the third problem that we've solved is the ability to know the temperature window to operate for the brazing, because aluminium's not very forgiving. And those of us that have worked in the engineering and fab space before, you're well aware that if we're talking about steel and you bring that up to temperature, you get a colour change in the parent metal. It will go cherry red, orange, etc., and that gives you a visual indicator. We don't get that with alloy. So we've solved that problem with the Burger Braze product that allows you to take an existing vehicle-specific aircon hose, hardline, join a new tail to it to suit the size, and then using the clip and cage program, you can secure a leak-free union that you know will fit the vehicle because that came off the very vehicle you're working on.
Yeah, and I mean, particularly the guys that are out in the field that might be a bit more remote. I know that you've got some kits there that can cover a wide range. I think it was 700 fittings you said that you had around in the...
Over 700 fittings,
yep.
All available individually, and yes, we do package kits, which are probably the most popular way that people access the Burgaflex range. There's 4 kits in total, and it gives you maximum coverage for most things you're going to want to repair. The kits come, thankfully we've got a global relationship with Milwaukee, so our kits come in Milwaukee pack-out cases, so they're very robust, they're water and dust proof, you can take them on site in service vehicles. And naturally, with this type of thing, to repair a hose on site in the field, the burger braze you can do in direct sunlight, you can do that in the field. The crimping process you can do anywhere. We've got guys on mine sites working on huge plant equipment where this is part of their tool belt. Yep. It's just another tool that they take with them on the job. So yeah, in field, in workshop, and the beauty is you won't have comebacks. It's far faster to assemble. You've got the range of fittings, and it gives you the capacity to repair a leaking vehicle-specific hose, regardless of the brand of car, the powertrain that's in it. You're no longer waiting on Alfa Romeo 8 weeks to get a $1,200 hose in with almost no margin for the workshop. You can remanufacture better than the original, and you know it will fit the vehicle.
Yeah. No, very good. It's very interesting stuff, and we're here in Queensland at the Ormo engineering facility here that they do a lot of testing here with Burgaflex. So there is definitely support as well. You know, Burgaflex Asia Pacific is based here, so we have stock locally, we have support. Take a look at the site. There's a great video, you know, showing the 30 seconds that it literally can take to put these together. So I've been very interested in looking at it, and thank you very much, Brett.
Pleasure. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Brendan.
See you later.